Hi Cancer, welcome to your August 2020 Astrology 33 general reading. Thanks to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details there. As far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and I also pulled a couple of Oracle cards for you guys and a Mudra card. So with that said, we'll get started with the main spread. The main situation position, we have the Magician. So this is a pretty good card to have in the main situation position. To me, it shows that you have a lot of tools at your disposal, and I feel like even if you've had them for a while, maybe you haven't realized them, this is just saying that you're aware of the fact that you pretty much can manifest things in your life right now. And it makes sense too, as far as, your season might have felt a little bit off just because you had Venus in your 12th house. Mercury was retrograde in your sign, so it might not have felt like the usual birthday season for you guys, where it might have felt like there was still a lot of snags and delays. And I mean, not to mention what's going on in the world in general, right? But seeing this card here, I feel like it's pointing to the fact that the momentum might be shifting for you guys in a positive way, and that might give you some confidence. All right, and challenge or obstacle position, we got the Hierophant and the Page of Swords. So interesting energies here. This is actually the major arcana card for Taurus, and then the Page of Swords energy here usually represents communication. Usually for me, I view it as communication via social media as well, because those trees in the background always remind me of the Facebook logo. But with that said, with this showing up in the challenge position, I could see it coming across a couple different ways. For some of you, this might be some nervousness around maybe communicating your feelings for someone and possibly wanting to get into a relationship with them. And if that's the case, Venus will get in your sign pretty much around the second week of August, so you might feel like your confidence might get a boost around that time. But yeah, there definitely seems to be some shyness around it at this time. Like I said, that makes sense as far as not only did you have that stuff going on in your 12th house and retrograde in your sign, but they'll clear their shadow. Basically, I'm recording this right before that second new moon you guys have. So basically, by the time we get into August, you'll probably feel a lot more of a momentum shift. And for a smaller group of you, I will say this might be possibly considering going back to school, but having some nervousness around that as well. All right, in the foundation position, we have the Knight of Cups. So definitely I would say this would be more so for the relationship theme that I mentioned for you guys. I feel like this is you finally being ready to move forward towards making an offer to someone, still being a bit guarded. I mean, after all, the Knight still does have armor on, right? But we do see the horse pointing in the future direction, meaning that forward movement. So I feel like you guys are getting ready to express your feelings for someone. And again, since this is Pisces energy here, this can also, again, for you guys, since that's your 9th house, point to maybe some of you will decide to take that leap and actually go back to school. Maybe all the uncertainty with the economy now made some of you want to rededicate yourselves. Like maybe some of you might have even gotten close already. And for some of you, might just be, oh, you only need to take a few more classes to get your degree, but for whatever reason, you might have to ditch it. And now with all this stuff going on, you might be like, all right, maybe it's best for me to, finish that up. That way I'll have more options. As far as timing goes, though, this can point to these might be energies that you'll be feeling throughout the month of August, and then maybe I would say at the latest by the time we have that full moon in Pisces, which will be early in September. Could be saying that could be when you might finally move forward. In the past position, we have the Three of Wands and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So these two energies together are pretty much opposites, but I'll put them in the upright while we talk about them. But what I will say is with this in the upright, usually this represents waiting for your ships to come in. And, usually it's you've put in a certain amount of work. Now you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to wait for those rewards to come my way. So with that in reverse and with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, could just be saying that maybe you've been waiting for a situation to be fixed. And maybe you had the mentality of, oh, I'll just leave it up to the universe, right? If it's meant to be, it'll be. And I feel like recently you guys might have actually started to have a shift in that perspective and maybe started to realize that maybe it'd be best for you to be proactive about things. In the present position, we have the Sun, Queen of Cups, and Seven of Cups. So here, to me, the Sun, of course, we've had the Sun moving through your sign, and by the time we officially get into August, it'll be in Leo. But I feel like more importantly than just representing the Sun moving in your sign, I feel like this is more saying that with this Queen of Cups energy here, this represents something that you've been thinking about, making some kind of a decision, because this is the court card representing your sign, but we do see the cup is closed off there. So this could be a decision that you've been mulling over. Maybe you haven't been ready to make a move on it quite yet. Maybe you just felt like there were so many options or that you weren't seeing the situation clearly. So with those energies in mind, the good thing about the Sun, if we think about the artwork in this card, clearly this person is in the dark, right? So I feel like the Sun popping up here is going to say that whatever situation you've been mulling over for a while, I feel like you're going to get some insight that's going to shine some light on the situation that'll actually help you move forward. Okay, in the near future position, we have the Four of Cups and the Nine of Wands. So interesting energy here. This is actually more Cancer energy, represents the last 10 degrees of Cancer, and then this is Sagittarius energy, middle 10 degrees of Sag. So seeing these two things come up together, for some of you this can be around work, so maybe you guys have been trying to shift your career in some way and put yourselves out there, and maybe you haven't been satisfied with the offers that have been coming your way. So because of that, that could be what's lighting the fire for you, like, okay, well, the job offers that I'm getting at this point aren't lined up with where I'd like to be. And that could have been what made you reconsider, what, maybe I need to just go to school, finish up this degree, and it'll broaden my options. But for others of you, this can actually represent the energy of another person. So if this is around a romantic relationship, which I do see some of that theme here, like I was mentioning earlier, this can represent another person in the situation. And as far as it looks like you being the one ready to take action, it looks like this is saying that the other person might not be, too open to it at first. And it looks like they're still a little bit guarded. So this is probably someone you actually have a history with, if that's the case. So I feel like this is saying, if you do reach out to someone and if you don't hear back right away, I feel like the best thing to do would just be to give it some time, because I feel like the message will be received, but it could just be one of those things where this person might need a little time to process that message and decide what they want to do going forward. And I feel like that's a good thing to say, especially because, like I was saying with that Page of Swords in the challenge, I feel like a lot of you would be communicating to this person via social media, possibly because you guys live at a distance from each other. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Five of Wands in reverse. So this is a pretty good card to have when it's actually in the reverse position. But as we could see, as we talk about it in the upright, you see that there's a bit of conflict going on. So to me, with this coming up in reverse, could just be saying that, like I was saying, if there was some kind of a falling out you had with someone, it looks like this is you finally deciding, what, this has gone on long enough. Let me move forward and try to mend the situation. So that's what that could be saying for some of you. And now for others of you, I feel like this could be, again, like I was saying, for those of you possibly deciding to go back to school, it could be because the type of environments you're in now, you're like, what, there's like all this competition, it might be a bit of a cutthroat field, and you're like, and at the same time, I'm not feeling like it's very rewarding anyway. So that could be you deciding, what, I'm really not feeling this whole environment right now, and that could be what's kind of nudging you to make a change as well. And if that's the case too, keep in mind that the astrology actually would support that type of theme moving through your lives right now, because you guys have Mars camped out in your 10th house, basically, which is your house of career and social status for the rest of this year. And that's abnormally long stay, but it's because it's going to do retrograde. So you combine that with the fact that you have all these heavy energies in your opposite sign, and those aren't always the most comfortable energies, but they can actually nudge us into action. So if we have felt stagnant in some way, sometimes those energies will push us towards something that's for our own benefit. It just might not feel like it at all the time, but it actually is for our benefit overall. All right, in the environment position, we have the Ten of Wands in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune. So the good thing is, if this is that person that I was seeing, that for some of you, like I was saying, this might represent the energy of another person. We saw the Nine of Wands there, so to see the Ten of Wands in reverse with the Wheel of Fortune could just be saying, like I was saying, that if you reach out to this person, they might not be quite ready at the moment they first hear from you to drop things, if there was some kind of falling out that the two of you had. But seeing this with the Wheel of Fortune does say to me that they actually will decide, all right, you know what, I'm going to let it go too. It's not worth it, right? Same way we see the Five of Wands in reverse on your side. So you letting it go, like, you know what, it's not worth fighting over it, whatever the situation was anymore. I feel like they'll arrive at that same conclusion with that Wheel of Fortune in the upright, rather. And then for others of you, this could also represent your energy, which, like I said, some of you might have just realized, you know what, the job I'm in right now is just exhausting me with minimal benefit. So this could just be saying that an opportunity might come your way that actually will enable you to move forward from that job. So like I said, whether it's applying um, to go back to school, or possibly even you just have a certification that you need, right? So maybe you're in the field you want to be already, but they might say to you, well, this is the highest we could pay you until you have the blah, blah, blah certification, right? So it could be as simple as that. You might just say, all right, well, I'm going to go take that certification course, and then that'll move things forward for you guys. So either way, it looks like these are positive energies in the environment. In the hopes or fears position, we have the moon, the Queen of Wands, and the Page of Wands. So interesting energies here. With the moon, of course, you guys are ruled by the moon, but sometimes this could point to Pisces energy too. So again, I feel like there might be, for some of you guys, some fear around, okay, you might feel like it's going to take you a while to get to this level, right? You might feel like you're at the page level right now and be like, oh, it might take me a long time to get to the queen level. So, it could just be one of those things where you might be underestimating how far you have come and the experience you do already have under your belt, and that could be what that Nine of Wands is pointing to there too, if this is your energy, which is to say he's holding on tightly to that one wand, right? But we see in the background there's 8 more, so he might be viewing it like, okay, this is all he has to show for his work, but meanwhile, the rest of us can all see those 8 wands, right? So it could just be one of those things where you might be underestimating how close you are to a certain goal, and that could be what's causing you some concern and feeling like, you don't know if you should actually make that leap or not. For others of you, let me see if anything else comes to mind with this. And what it could be as well is, for some of you, you might be a bit intimidated by the other person. Maybe there's an age difference between the two of you, or maybe you feel like they're further ahead in life in some way than you are, and that could be causing you a little bit of hesitation. But I mean, this is, I think, the 10th reading I'm doing for this month, and this is probably the most positive spread I've seen. So looks pretty good overall. But yeah, and also keep in mind, I always point out to people, with the cards in this position, it's just hopes or fears, meaning that it's not really an indicator that the energy would play out. It's just something that's more on your mind. And in the outcome position, we have the Lovers. So obviously, if this is around a love relationship, which for some of you definitely could be, this is definitely a positive thing to see pop up in the outcome position. Like I said, it could have just been one of those things where you just might have felt like you were spinning your wheels for a while, not really getting anywhere. And like I said, would make sense. Venus being in your 12th might have felt like you couldn't take action in that regard. It's going to move into your sign around the second week of August. Mercury was retrograde in your sign. That's over now, but it's going to gain momentum and move into Leo. So could just be giving you a lot of confidence and actually make you finally feel like you're ready to move forward around something. And it looks like this could just be saying that this is a blessed decision too, regardless of what it is. If it's love, if it's going back to school, if it's getting a certification in your job, whatever the case may be. Pretty positive message to have in the outcome. And then at the bottom of the deck also, we have the Strength card. So I just feel like this is just saying, could just be pointing to the fact that we're going to be in Leo season, of course, for a lot of August, and a lot of energy will be moving through that sign. But more importantly, I feel like this is just saying that this is you actually finally finding that strength and having that courage to move forward on something. All right, moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we have Unfinished Symphony. There's the artwork, and the number is 10. So we'll see what that says. Okay, it says unfinished business, an incomplete lesson, lack of closure, the need to make amends. So that definitely fits the theme of those two cards we were talking about there. But the Oracle's message says, this is a time to tie up loose ends as you near the completion of a cycle or project and mastery of a lesson or skill. Before you can move forward, it's important that you come to terms with where you are now. Practice radical acceptance. Take inventory so that emotional and psychological closure can occur and answers you seek will be found. You can't move forward if you are leaving things unfinished. Reflect on what has passed so that the symphony can finally end on a high note. So yeah, that definitely seems to support the message of what I was saying, that, you guys might be close to something. Like I said, you might have had to leave school earlier than you'd hoped, but maybe you're still close to getting that degree, but you just got caught up in maybe your current career path, and maybe now with all this uncertainty, you're like, yeah, you know what, maybe it would be better for me to get this degree so I have more options in case these types of things flare up again. And like I said, could be around romantic relationships too. So we'll see what the relationship message says. It says, moving on is difficult when love lingers, things are left unsaid, and you haven't had the opportunity for closure in your relationship and in your heart. You can still feel bound up in relationships when closure is denied you. It's important to achieve this for yourself. Write that letter, make that call, or have that conversation over a cup of coffee. For peace of mind, accept matters as they are, make amends if need be, and declare your feelings, even if only to yourself. Be clear about what was left unresolved, and close the door on the past so you can set yourself free. Only then can new love blossom. So yeah, definitely a pretty good message there too. And like I said, I did pick up on the feeling that for some of you, maybe this was a falling out that you've had with someone, and maybe for a while you had that hope that, oh, maybe they'll come back around first, right? And for whatever reason, it seems like that energy has shifted to where you're realizing that, okay, well, in order for this to move forward, it's going to have to be you that actually comes forward first. For a lot of you, it looks like this could definitely be repaired. Like I said, if you do reach out to them and don't hear back immediately, I wouldn't necessarily get discouraged by that, but I would say just try to give them some time rather than bombard them with more messages. I feel like it could just be, if that's the case that you end up in, that they're just a little bit guarded still. And with time, given that we see that Ten of Wands and reverse Wheel of Fortune in the environment, looks like they will come around and finally agree to bury the hatchet as well. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. And then the prosperity message says, make sure you complete projects now before starting new ones. Perhaps you have created something special that will increase your sense of abundance and bring you opportunities for wealth. However, if you don't see it through, it won't add up to anything but more clutter. Now is the time to put your nose to the grindstone and complete the tasks that have accumulated. Pay your bills, sign the documents, do your filing, hand in an assignment, complete a work of art. Tie up loose ends so you can move forward with surety, knowing you're on the prosperous path and feeling refreshed and excited about the future. So definitely an interesting message there. That makes me think of the Queen of Cups, where I was saying that maybe you guys have something that you've worked on for a while, and for whatever reason you just haven't felt the need to come forward with it yet. So if that's the case, I would say maybe that's the sign you need there. If you have some creative project, because the sun energy could definitely point to creativity as well. If you have some kind of creative project you've been working on, but maybe just felt like it wasn't the right time to bring it out, especially when Venus does move into your first house, then maybe that'd be a good time to release it. So hope that resonates with you guys as well. And next we have Scarab Beetle Spirit. It says magic works through you. So that makes me think of the Magician, but there's the artwork for that, and the number is 52. Okay, Okay, it says in ancient Egypt, the scarab beetle was revered, for the creative magic of scarab beetle spirit reminds us that we can bring forth something extraordinary, seemingly out of thin air. Whenever you let your creativity flow through you, scarab beetle spirit reminds you that spirit has given you the gift of infinite potential. You have an ally as you fashion something new or repurpose the old, for spirit co-creates with you, channeling energy through you so that you can feel replenished and vitalized as you make magic with what is at hand. Now is the time for great optimism, for you can accomplish anything you desire and your creative endeavors will come to fruition. Miracles, opportunities, abundance, and love will appear seemingly out of nowhere as you allow spirit to work through you and magically manifest what you need. So definitely a good message there, especially, the thing that stuck out to me was repurposed old. That made me think of what I was saying, that maybe you guys have gotten close to a goal in the past, but maybe you had to ditch that goal for whatever reason. Maybe other things came up in your life. And like I said, it looks like this might be a good time for you to pick that back up. And same thing, like I said, if it's around a relationship too, that maybe, for whatever reason you guys that are falling out, looks like this could be a good month to pick the momentum back up there. So hopefully that resonated as well. Finally, the last thing we have is a Mudra card for your sign, and the Mudra you guys got is the Chin Mudra. There it is there. Keyword for it is awareness. And let's see if we could fit it all in the frame. Alright, there you go. If you want to pause it or take a screenshot to see what it has to say, you can. But under benefits, it says sharpens the intellect, reduces daydreaming and mental fantasy during meditation, lifts depression, opens the lower lobes of the lungs, especially when accompanied by deep diaphragmatic breathing. So if that sounds like something you think you'd find beneficial, I will put the name of the Mudra in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. Alright, bye.